Hey everyone, this is Jack Smith. Welcome to another episode of IT Horror Stories. And today, Andrew is here again. Hey Andrew, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great today. How are you?
Excellent as always. In today's episode, we had a small discussion up front and we would like to mention some kind of unexpected security issue that we found through some unexpected channels. And it all started a few years ago when there was this period where you had to stay inside and weren't allowed to leave the house, or you had to wear a mask, and there was lots of drama about everything. We had with a few guys, we all were working in IT at earlier points in our careers. We were doing regular meetings once a week, once every 2 weeks, doing conference call on a Zoom, on a Teams, on a Jitsi, whatever. And one of the guys there who stayed in touch with, he said, well, I'm doing a new job interview. I'm unhappy where I am now. And I am going to round 1, round 2. We were rooting him on a bit. Like, okay, cool. You want to do this proposition? I'm like, cool, go for it. We support you. He had interview with this, I think the future CEO it was, Andrew. I don't know, was pretty high up that he got an interview with.
He was past the first round. He was pretty high up in the chain, yes.
Yeah, indeed. And they gave me an exercise. They were going to provide anonymized data from one of their customers, and then he had to work on that. I believe he was going for some kind of support function. I don't recall which one. It doesn't matter, actually. Mm-hmm. Is it okay if you guys have a look at my work and see how I'm doing?
Yeah.
No problem with that.
We were like, sure, let's do this.
I guess everybody would do this or should do this to see what's going on. So all things well and done. We got the documents that our buddy got from his potential new employer. I received, because I was doing some project management as well back then, I got an escalation sheet from their customer. It was supposed to be anonymized, was promised to be anonymized. Look into it, and I start seeing names, I start seeing phone numbers, I start seeing escalation paths, and after 15-20 minutes you realize this is not anonymized.
Yeah, and I got a network sheet, a network plan, that being a bit my expertise. And I think around the same time, it must have been a minute apart from you saying this is not anonymized, that I made the same conclusion on the network plan. Like, this is really recognizable. It may not be a company where I've been at, but this is giving me a lot of useful data to look at it from the outside. How do I get in? And this is a bit uncomfortably, then this is a bit too much for my own comfort level.
And to frame it, the customer that we got the data from was a big transportation hub that handles more than a few thousand people a day. And with the info we got, I could perfectly, with the info, call them up and go through their escalation path and have passwords changed. I could get login details, social engineering. I have this. I call the help desk. My VPN client crashed. I need to reconfigure it. Give me all the information, dear help desk. You are talking to this and this person. I can talk to your manager. I have his name and his phone number here. I could totally do that and work my way into that organization. And I think, and from your side, it was even worse.
I could quickly match it to a company that should match the plans that I was seeing. Given I already passed myself through that transport hub once, I knew the buildings.
True.
True, we all did, probably. So then it became a case even of funny, like these subnets mapped to these physical locations. I was able to find out the VPN subnet, for example. So you were mentioning in the call, I could ask for a password reset. I said I could even give you an IP address from inside on which you're connected, for example. We're all piecing it together. And let's not leave out the guy who was going for a new job here. He had some experience as well in general support roles. The information he got as a third part, well, for him, he also came to the conclusion that he was seeing a lot of internal support stuff, internal support tools and things like that.
And then there we were, 10:30 in an evening on a Wednesday, on a Thursday. I forgot. Our buddy got the things through email a few hours earlier, so I'll look at it later. what do we do? Because initially, my conclusion and your conclusion was, so if any random person looking for a job in this company is getting this information, how much has this happened before and nobody just noticed or mentioned it?
I was especially thinking the not mentioning it. And it did worry me a bit because this was just everything on the street. And, well, we were a combination team. A support person, someone with some network knowledge and someone with people knowledge here is a perfect combo, but it's not unthinkable. And then we had all those documents, we could piece it together, and this was a really easy opening exercise to some social engineering. This is the ideal opening exercise to do social engineering for that company, which was a customer of the one we were applying for.
Yeah. And somewhere we had the thing, okay, shall we ping back to the hiring manager, but we couldn't reach him or whatever. So then, okay, but this is a serious leak, so this was a huge data breach. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
You have network maps, you have network plans, you have escalation maps, you have names, phone numbers. So were we white hat hackers or were we just social engineers? I don't know what we were back then.
We basically had everything except the passwords for once.
Yeah. So who do we inform that they have a data breach? That was our question. Hiring manager was not reachable to ask like, hey, did you perhaps send us the wrong, well, not us, did you send our friend the wrong information? Yes or no? Was unreachable. And then we start looking in our net.
We choose not to have any subscription model nor sponsoring in order to keep our stories accessible for each and everyone. To support us, please check our merchandise at shop.ithorrorstories.eu or buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/ithorrorstories.
I had an ex-colleague working there in, I think, some database administration. And then I realized that in one of my, let's just call it childhood friends, worked there in the same company at a completely different department. But I had him on short dial as we do some dead weekends a few times a year. And I just sent him a message. I think you have a data breach and I have the data. He called back to me. I sent him the documents because he's an employee of the company. Sure, I think ethically maybe a gray area, but not a black one.
I want to add here, I'm pretty certain that our original guy that was going for the job did not sign a non-disclosure at that point.
We checked, he did not.
He did not, so...
We asked, indeed.
Ethically, okay, but legally at least you were in the clear here.
We could have called the news in the newspapers.
Oh, definitely.
We could have done that. We don't feel like this much drama, so we didn't. Called my other guy, he called back. He said, oh dear, I'll get back to you. And that was it for an hour. We get to midnight and I get a text message that they were in emergency senior management meeting. Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, that's positive in a way, of course.
It's positive in a way indeed. That went by and a weekend went over it. And we got on Monday, our buddy who was interviewing got a message. We by accident sent you the wrong documents. Can you please make sure that these are destroyed and you will get new ones? Sure, that happened. And I think then 1 week later, I got a very long email from a lawyer.
Yeah, likewise.
That I was stealing data, they were going to sue me, I had to immediately destroy everything and show proof of destruction. I don't know how you do that. Like, do I send them a screenshot? Do you want to delete the files? Yes, no? I don't know how you do that.
You can send a picture of a computer which was hit by a hammer, I suppose.
You could. Yes.
I got a similar message with a very threatening tone, but we got together in our call and it was quickly apparent that the threatening tone was all there was to it because there really wasn't the legal ground. We read through the mail a few times and we noticed that there really wasn't the legal ground. This is honestly, a poor reaction because we could have gone to the news. They knew it. They must have known it. We didn't. So the threat was honestly more motivating me to do the wrong thing here, of course.
We could have
We
said
didn't.
F it.
Yeah, we could have, but we didn't.
We throw your things out there, indeed. And then I think I literally wrote in my reply that you do realize that you are shooting the messenger here, I hope.
Yeah.
Because we are doing you a solid favor by mentioning this to you in-house, that you can keep this in-house, and then you can quietly forget that every person that has done this exercise with this hiring manager has received, very likely, the exact same documents containing the exact same info from the exact same big transportation hub that will have a huge economic and social impact if something goes down there.
And I believe they went silent after that.
I didn't hear anything from them anymore, so we did. We did ping a few times, or we didn't. I do not recall because I was like, and move on. And I think that was mostly it. I don't think that our body then even continued the hiring process because you guys don't have your things together. This is not something that I feel comfortable working with. Also, the way you reacted at this is not the way that I would like to work with.
No, indeed, he didn't. And a good one. Yeah.
That's the thing. And then the reason I brought it up, because then the childhood friend that I pinged, he left that company 6-7 months ago. And he reached out to me like, did anything ever come back from that? And the answer was no. I do get the feeling they all, at sea level, they all buried this incident. And sadly, I don't think they learned anything from it.
Yeah, and that's sad in a way. We should have burned them publicly.
Well, looking all of that back, we could have launched an entire career out of white hat hacking security consultancy out of it.
Yeah. That would have been a bit overblown, but yes. Indeed, they were presented with probably the best possible course to go, with just an internal notification that things were going wrong. And in my opinion, they poorly reacted. So let's hope it's better now. We didn't get to do a reshot at the hiring process from anyone in our environment, so we were unable to verify that one.
Yeah, we did reach out left and right, but just see if they did something just out of interest, like for the record, I did delete the files, you did as well.
Yeah.
I no longer have a copy. I don't want them. I don't need them. I had them on my NAS for a while after I downloaded them, and I removed them. I even removed them from my S3 backup manually because it's set to do not delete, so just to make sure that I don't have them. I don't want those files. I don't want that knowledge because the possible attack factors are humongous there, and there is so much social engineering going on already that this is something that as an IT professional you just want to stay clear of. You have folks with principles that want to make a point out of it. I don't feel that I'm that person. This was IT Horror Stories with Jack Smith and Andrew. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Deezer, and wherever you find your podcasts. New episodes at least monthly. We have merch at shop.ithorrorstories.eu, or you can support us on Ko-fi, and our social medias are on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, and Mastodon. All applicable links can be found on our website, ithorrorstories.eu. Andrew, thanks for joining, and we will hear each other the next time. Bye-bye.
The content of this podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only and is meant to humorously explore various tech-related situations. Any resemblance to actual events or real persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. We ridicule situations, never individuals or groups. Listener discretion is advised, and we encourage everyone to approach technology with a sense of humor and an open mind.